Hi guys, so let's take a look at another set of exemplar answers. This time we're of course looking at paper 2, so let's have a little run through. Of course we're starting in section B. You know I like to do this, okay? Means that you know every single question that you are answering will need to have application. We also know that you don't want to be spending more than 25 minutes on section A because you can just finish that so quickly. So yeah, let's get moving here. So we've got 4A, outline one impact on Netflix, right? We know these outline questions, they're so badly answered generally. So you've got to identify a point, okay? One impact on Netflix from an increase in competition. So it may mean that they need more product differentiation and therefore they've got to invest in even more programming. There we go, okay? So they've got to develop their own programs. It may mean alternatively that they need to be price competitive, so thus you could actually refer to the subscription charge as your application there too. Right, let's move it on. B, analyse the benefits. We now got a 6-mark analyse question. We know that we've got to have at least 5 interconnected sentences to be able to pick up top analysis marks, but we also want a minimum of 2, preferably 3 types of application in here. So just have a little look at what is written here. Of course, pause this video as we're going through this because I am going to go a little bit too quickly otherwise, and I'm not going to just read through things for you, okay? And you can hopefully see it nice and easily there on the screen. So firstly, we've got the identification point. We can also see then this is because, leading to, therefore, moreover, consequently. So that element is certainly taken care of. Have a read through. Make sure that the actual business understanding is clear as well, so that the student really knows what they're talking about. We can see that there are various examples of application. When you get numbers in the case study, they're so easy in terms of you being able to use them for your application. This price here, and then we've got 6 billion going back into the business developing new content. You know, just at a glance that looks like a 6-mark response to me. There's a couple of numerical questions there. I've just put down the working there. I haven't put in the answers as well. Nevertheless, let's move it on. We've got this next analyze question. So in 2016, Netflix decided to increase the price of its standard UK subscription. So again, we want the 5 interconnected sentences. We want at least 3 pieces of application. Well, at least 2, preferably 3 pieces of application through this. So what have we got? Okay, fine. However, their revenues, this is interesting. This has gone a slightly different way. The price increase seems to have led to a number of customers unsubscribing. Okay, therefore reducing the amount that can be invested in developing new programs. Moreover, the competitive environment may mean Netflix subscribers opt for Amazon. So consequently, and then how, like, you know, we can see that there are at least 5 interconnected sentences. So what you can see from this is that you do not need to follow that ID, BLT, MC structure exactly. It is just there to act as a prompt to make sure that you use 5 interconnected points. We've got a 1-mark state 1 benefit here. Okay, so again, this just needs to make sure that we can see the application to Netflix and will always be available on their site as a USP, okay, and that is their own content, of course. Outline one advantage for Netflix being a PLC, so 2-mark question. This has enabled Netflix to generate a large amount of capital through selling shares. Well, that's the point of identification, okay. And then this can be invested into new program developments. Okay, so that is the application. You've got to get application across in your answer there. So that's really important. Excellent. Then moving into the justify question. So we've got these 2 options. Remember, pick out your preferred option and then start with that preferred option. We can see this first paragraph here. This first paragraph, you're almost dealing with it as if it is a analyze question in essence, okay? But you can have a little less application. So just 2 pieces of application is absolutely perfect here. ID, BLT, MC plus that application. So they've gone for option 2. This is because then therefore moreover consequently. Okay, so again, we've got that margin for error with ID, BLT, MC that actually we're developing 6 points. Okay, so even though it seems like there's just 5, that's going to be absolutely fine in terms of top AO3A marks. Now, the counter argument, of course, is looking at the downside or looking at option 1 strengths. So we can see may attract new subscribers by encouraging them to trial a subscription. This is option 1. Okay, fine. And this should be a sort of ID. Well, it's an ID, BLT approach. We've got leads to, therefore, okay, and that's really strong. Is there application there? Can we see that application? Can you pick that out? Where is it? What about this final judgment? How good is this? So here we're looking for that sort of aim judgment. Answer the question, what is the best answer, and justify your answer. As such, I believe the most important factor, okay? And so also considering that it depends in the most important elements. Okay, nevertheless, this looks like a wonderfully strong answer. Great stuff. Give 1 type of social media that a business could use to interact with its customers. Okay, well, Twitter, like how easy is that? That's marks for nothing, isn't it? Okay, we've just got a split here. Let's just sort that out. Using figure 3, identify the month where the Kylie Jenner official app fell to its lowest ranking in the UK iPhone entertainment download charts. Well, that was September 2016. If you look at the data there, outline, another outline question, 2 marks. So identify a point, then give that application. So this makes the products appear to be ethical and helps to enhance the brand's image as being responsible towards stakeholders. Oh, I'm not sure that application's that strong. Can you strengthen that? How could you go about improving that? What could you like? I think that's looking like 1 mark, a typical sort of 1 mark response here. I don't like that so much. Come on, we can do better than that, guys. Let's move it through. To improve the sale of its products, Kylie Cosmetics is considering 2 options. 2 options, just pick out your preferred one, ID, BLT plus the MC. What's she done? Oh, she's got Kai Shadow. Okay, so yeah, launch such as her Kai Shadow. What else could you want, ladies? Okay, so we've got that BLT MC stuff. There's also a bit of MAC, which is another makeup brand, I believe. Okay, so that's good. Then we've got a counter argument. I've gone down too far there. So counter argument identifying this. Okay, this would lead to greater overall income. Yeah, okay, all right. And once again, the application looks strong. And then we've got that aim judgment, answering the question, justifying the answer. It depends upon. And most importantly, how good is the application? Is that 9 out of 9? What do you reckon? Right, finally, in section C, we've got the evaluate question. So notice the definition in context here. So that's the big difference that I'd encourage you to work towards with the 12-mark question as opposed to the justify. There's 2 really. The fact that you want to include a definition, you want to include a slightly stronger judgment, okay, where you really do go to some length to develop your aim judgment in particular. Okay, so anyway, let's keep going. It's nice that this is in context. Look, this definition's given in, and then the context is applied, teenage girl demographic. Okay, so we've got ID, BLT, MC here, I think. And then we've got a counter argument. Now, with the evaluate questions, very, very easy to get lost on what to do. So just pick out the key term in there and start off with the definition. It's the start that stops most people when it comes to these questions, these evaluate questions. So just start with a nice, easy definition and then look at how that is actually used in the business. Then you know you're immediately getting some marks on the board, really, okay, in terms of your business understanding, in terms of your application. And then you can then say, right, well, what's good about it and what's not so good about it, okay? So on one hand, on the other hand, and if you follow that sort of structure of giving a definition and then looking on one hand and then on the other hand, you'll be absolutely fine, together with the need for an overall judgment, okay? So the on the other hand is, of course, your counter argument, and then you've got your overall aim judgment. Now, again, you may just want to pause this, have a read through this, make sure you're developing your understanding here. What did you answer in relation to these questions? If you haven't answered these questions, well worth going back to the example where I go through the paper and the mark scheme and having a go at writing your own answers. Do they look similar to these? Okay, so then we've got a really detailed judgment. All right, excellent. So let's go back into section A now. We've got a couple of multiple choice questions there, and then we're into these cheeky little explain questions. All right, these explain questions, they're absolute gimmies when you know how to answer them. Okay, so business using batch production, this means that economies of scale cannot be fully exploited. So it basically means the average unit cost is going to be higher than if you were using mass production, leading to average unit cost production being relatively high. Therefore, the price level will need to be relatively high to afford a decent gross profit margin. Okay, nice. Can you write that in less words? I reckon you can. Go on, give it a crack right now. Okay, let's move it through. Now, explain one benefit to a business of using loan capital as a source of finance. Okay, so loan capital or debt, ability to repay the debt over a long period of time. The repayment may be a fixed cost, and this will aid the business's ability to budget their expenditure. Therefore, they can plan their cash flow carefully to ensure liquidity, okay, to ensure that they've got enough cash available for their day-to-day expenses. So that's a really important point. Okay, right, we've got some numerical questions there, and then we're back into the explain question. Right, explain one impact on a business producing high quality products. This is more like it. This is the sort of length you want to be striving towards. Products will be durable, leading to improved brand image. Therefore, they would develop greater brand loyalty. Lovely. Okay, explain one disadvantage for a business making poor logistical decision. So logistics, all about getting products from A to B or supplies from A to B. Long lead times, difference between ordering and receiving products. This would lead to stock not arriving in time to meet the needs of customers. Therefore, the business may disappoint customers, leading to negative publicity. Yeah, lovely. Okay, explain one drawback to a business if a tariff is placed on raw materials at imports. So tariff is a tax on imports, okay? So this is used to help protect domestic industries. So for instance, the EU has a common external tariff, and that is used to actually protect European Union-based businesses, okay, and it's to the detriment of foreign countries wanting to import their goods into the EU. So it means that the cost of importing raw materials will rise. This will lead to a reduced gross profit margin as the cost of sales increases. This is nice. Therefore, the business will face two choices: to increase prices to maintain margins or accept lower profits. Okay, so what generally happens is that tariffs lead to increased prices for consumers. Okay, so yeah, I mentioned the common external tariff. As a result of that, it does mean that we face higher prices for many imported goods than we would do otherwise. Okay, so explain one benefit to a business setting employees individual targets to achieve. Setting individual targets can motivate them. This may lead to higher productivity. Therefore, the business may generate more sales. Lovely. Okay, and then finally, the discuss question. ID, BLT plus MC, and we've got this nailed down. So, okay, we can see we've got a point being made here about remote working. At the same time, it may be more difficult to monitor their output by their line managers. Indeed, it may mean that productivity may fall. Moreover, the absence of face-to-face interaction may cause an additional problem with a lack of creativity. Consequently, remote working could even damage the business's competitive advantage. So there are a number of firms that are actually turning back against remote working because they found that it hasn't worked as well as they would have hoped. So anyway, guys, I reckon, just glancing across this is looking like just one mark was dropped in this. What do you think? Can you have a good crack at these questions? How are you feeling about all of this now? Do let me know. Thanks, guys.